So we'll study chapter 10 today. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 is titled the opulence of the absolute truth. So ninth chapter is the central chapter and the most important. Krishna says the knowledge that he reveals in this chapter is even more significant, even more important, and it is the highest of all. And that is how it is, and we'll see how it is. So we'll have verses as well as go through the presentation here. So in the first section, Krishna reveals that he is the source of all. He is the source of everything. So last chapter, Krishna has revealed how he relates to this world, how the relation with this world exists for him. And he will continue the same theme here, how he is the source of everything. That's the theme that is very much stressed in this particular chapter. And it's obvious because he is the source of everything, nobody knows about him. No one can know about him being the source. No one can understand that. So that is mentioned by Krishna himself in the second verse. So we'll just recite this. Namo vidhu suragana prabhavana maharshaya aham adeshi devanam maharshinam chasarvashaha. Can someone read the translation? Anyone?
Neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages.
Yeah, so he is the very source of everybody. So no one can understand him. So it is only him who has to reveal about his opulences or his attributes or his details. Nobody can understand without his help, without his revelation. So because he's the root cause, one of the definition of God is that he is the ultimate reality. That is defined by ultimate. The ultimate reality is defined as the source of all realities. This is one definition of God, because he is the ultimate cause of every cause. If you in this world, if you try to root cause analyze anything, right? For example, you're living in a home. The home is made of wood, and the cause of home is wood. The cause of wood is again earth, water, all of this, right? So like that, if you do a causal analysis of anything, causal chain analysis of anything in this world, the final stop is always God, because that's how the definition is. So he is the ultimate source of everything. There may be many intermediate causes, but he becomes the root cause of everything. Right? So this is one way we define God, and that is how Krishna himself explains in this chapter in the first section. So another way to see is, suppose somebody gets a promotion, he might consider that the real cause of that is his boss. Besides his work, he thinks that his boss is the root cause. But if you go back and analyze, whatever happened in his life is according to the laws of karma that are acting on it. So in that sense, the creator of the laws is the ultimate cause of that. Is that making sense? So ultimately, Krishna is the root cause of everything. This is just one example I'm saying. Like that, if you look at any inventions, if you look at any great inventions, there are many inventions in this world. We might attribute that to Isaac Newton or Einstein, the greatest mind, we say, right? But the material of that mind, that intelligence, the brain, and the brain power, the subtle mind that is empowering that brain, all of that is actually what? It's all coming from the elements of this nature. And Krishna says, I am the source of those elements. So he becomes the root cause of everything. So that's how we understand, right? And one thing we all want to understand is, if Krishna is the root cause, okay, can science explain that root cause? And so in fact, if you heard about Einstein, after doing the relative theory of relativity, proposal, and use of that in atom bomb creation and all, much of his life was spent in finding the you know causal analysis and root of everything. That was the one thing that explains everything in existence. He understood that there is something that is going to explain everything else. And how do I he wants to analyze it, but he failed in that experiment, in that research. He could not complete that research, but he said this is something that's the ultimate goal of science. What is the root cause of everything? But not going that far, can science explain root cause of of any phenomenon in this existence? The way science works in this world is, science observes the nature and tries to reverse engineer or unravel how actually nature works. That's how science always worked. And in this effort, there are many great discoveries we have science has uncovered for us. But if you observe it, the way science works is, there is a very you know orderly functionality in this existence. Without that orderly functionality, science has no place, right? If everything is random, then science cannot unravel anything in this existence. So there is certain orderliness to this world and the phenomena of this world, on which the science is based. Science is valid only if there is orderliness in this world, isn't it? So science can only do that much. It can reverse engineer on how nature, and unravel the natural laws behind it. There are laws, there are perfect laws that are governing the nature, and science only can unravel that much. It cannot go beyond that. It cannot go to the root cause. It can only do causal analysis of what exists in this, what exists and how the phenomena work in this world. But what science cannot explain is, why does anything exist at all, right? If you ask any great scientist, he can explain how things work, but he cannot explain why does anything exist, and where did it ultimately come? What is the source and why it exists? These are the two questions science cannot explain. They don't find an answer in the in science. I was looking at science magazines articles. So one of the this is very famous. I mean, a lot of people in our preaching community use this article. So on their 120th anniversary, they have published an article on the most unsolved and unanswered questions that are very preliminary, that still uh, you know uh, that still is a mystery for science. So the very basic questions that science doesn't have answers as of now are, where does the universe come from? I mean, they have a theory about it, but there is no real proof for it. Where does the universe come from? And where does consciousness come from? These are the two questions. And also the other thing is ultimate origin of everything. This is what Einstein was behind. He declared he could not solve the problem. These are the fundamental questions science could not unravel. So that's why Prabhupada says, where science ends, that's when Bhagavad Gita begins. So the second chapter is where science ends, that's where actually Bhagavad Gita begins. The knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is a continuation for where science fails to go further, especially from chapter 2 onwards. All the knowledge given is a consequential knowledge to what science can give. And here in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, I mean, what science failed completely in answering, in Krishna answers as he being the ultimate source of everything. We all know this famous verse from Brahma Samhita: Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Sarvakarana Karanam. So Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all, has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. He is the prime cause of all causes. There is no cause for him. So, of course, many scientific minds may not accept such a straightforward answer, but here is the answer for it. And there is no way for them to know, as already explained by Krishna. Krishna himself tells, this is something not the greatest sages can understand. I have to reveal it to you. But this is the fact. What science has no answers, the greatest minds in the science have no answer to, that is given in our Bhagavad Gita. That's the greatness. Right? We should appreciate that. So that's the first section. And the second section is the most. So this is the reason Krishna himself says this is the most important knowledge I'm going to tell you now. He's going to reveal Chatishloki Bhagavad Gita. Chatishloki Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses. So the Chatishloki Bhagavad Gita gives the message of Gita in a nutshell. That's the reason it's called Chatishloki Bhagavad Gita. In 4 shlokas, the entire Bhagavad Gita is given. This in itself can be a, like a 4 or 5 classes, but we'll just in brief go about it. This is considered the most cherished section of Gita. All of us should remember these verses, these 4 verses. They're the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And one may ask, why exactly this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita? Okay, because if you look at the entire flow of Gita, the whole reason Bhagavad Gita was as a discussion arose between Arjuna and Krishna is that it is in answer to Arjuna's predicament where he was unable to decide whether to fight or not. So this section, in essence, actually answers that question, the very question that Arjuna was, confused about. And the ultimate message of Bhagavad Gita is also in this. That's how we see that this is the answer to Arjuna's question. See your actions as a reciprocation of love with the ultimate reality. So that is the ultimate message of these 4 slokas. We'll go about that. But the essential message is any action you perform, whether you're fighting like Arjuna or you're cooking for Krishna, whatever, do it as a reciprocation of love with God, with Krishna. If you do it that way, you nailed it. That's the right way of action. So in our specific situation, externally it might be a confronting situation, like Arjuna was confronting warriors on the battlefield. You could be confronting, to solve a problem at your place, whatever. But at the uber level, see that it is a reciprocation of love. We should have that higher vision, and we'll learn how to do that in this chapter as we discuss further. I'm going to elaborate on one verse at the end, 10th verse. But until now, we'll just go through this message here. So this is the essential message of Gita, condensed in 4 verses. So we'll go through the quick summary of this. So there are 4 verses here, as I mentioned. So the verse 1, so maybe one of you can read these verses here. Can one of you read?
God. Someone else wants to read, or I go ahead?
Yeah, Mataji, can I go ahead, Mataji?
Yeah, go ahead.
God is the source of everything. Those who understand this become devoted to Him.
If one understand that God is the source of everything, naturally you become devoted to Him, because everything you are enjoying, I mean, the air you are breathing, the food you are eating, the house you are living is made of God, given facilities. Naturally, you become very uh, grateful and devoted. There is He is the source of everything that you are living by, right? So that's the natural reaction. Okay, so this is the natural reaction of anybody who understands the ultimate source. Okay, go ahead, Nath.
Those who are devoted delight in discussing about God with each other.
Naturally, once you understand, hey, He is the ultimate source, I didn't realize this. Naturally, you admire and delight in discussing about Him. Natural, that's a natural reaction. Right? That is, devotion is nothing but an act of love. When you recognize, for example, we were all children and our parents are taking care of us. We didn't recognize, we are not grateful. Even when we know our children today, they don't, they speak in a way that they don't really care sometimes, right? But when they become parents, when they recognize what we have done to them, naturally they become very loving and caring to us, right? When they realize that. So this is also again natural reaction to recognizing the source of everything. Yes? Those who are devoted delight in discussing about God with each other. So this is what devotees do. Devotees means a person who recognizes the source of everything. Yeah, next.
To those who are devoted, Lord gives them knowledge from within so that they can come closer to Him.
Now the first two verses are from the like one step from the devotees side, right? So now Krishna is going to do his steps. If we take one step, Krishna will take 10 steps. That's what they say, right? So here is Krishna's reciprocation. So to those who are devoted, Lord gives them the knowledge from within so that they can come closer to Him. Because this is the ultimate goal of life. So to come closer to Him and to ultimately go to Him. So He gives the knowledge. Hey, this is not good for you. This is good for you. Don't waste your time in this. Spend your time in that. So like that, we have that sixth sense working from within. Or when you inquire and you talk to and associate with devotees, you get this hints on what is the right thing to perform in your life, so that you come closer to Him. So Lord becomes a constant guide in your life, in every aspect of life. Yeah, next.
For those who are devoted,
Mhm.
sometimes if they suffer from deficiencies of knowledge, God will make up for their deficiencies, gives them wisdom and illumination from within.
Sometimes we may get distracted because material energy is too powerful, and it is possible that we get distracted. Lord will make sure that actually He will make up for our deficiencies, our lack of commitment. He will make up for us. So this is the second, like we took one step, Krishna is taking 10 steps, right? So this is out of His love, causeless love. There is no cause because we are the one who gave up Him. There is no cause for it, but still He gives that wisdom and He illuminates from within to again correct us, right? Once we took one step, He wants to make sure we come back to Him. You can see this is the act of love. This fourth verse is actually like His expression of complete love for us, right? So now it's clear, right? The first two verses are about recognizing the source, right? And acting in that recognition by the devotee, by actually expressing delight in discussing about Him. And third and fourth were the reciprocation of the devotees, sorry, of the Lord for the devotees who have actually expressed that love for Him, right? By giving the knowledge from within and support from outside as well, right? So removing any deficiencies for us and uplifting us and making us closer to Him ultimately. So we can see how Lord actually loves all of us. Now we can all together read these verses. I just, because these are so important verses, let's quickly read through these verses together. You can all unmute. Aham sarvasya prabhavo Maybe one of you read the translation.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yes.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Let's together read again. Machitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam
Kathyantascha mam nityam dusyanti cha.
The thoughts of my, sorry, one of you read.
The thoughts of,
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
Wow, look at that. Krishna saying about his devotees. Who can say like that? Yeah. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti dadami buddhi yogantam yena mamupyanti te. Yeah,
Those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Tesham eva
Partham aham ajnana
Nashayami atma bhavasto
Jnanadipena
dipena bhasvata.
Anyone? Yeah, anyone? Repeat.
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
This is special mercy. Means Krishna taking charge. Once you start chanting, Krishna will not leave you. Make sure that you, this life or next life you will go to. This is such a loving act of reciprocation from Krishna, isn't it? It's a special mercy. Means causeless, no cause for it, no reason for it. Yeah. After hearing this, Arjuna was totally, now he was like totally in love with Krishna. He was always loving him, but after hearing this, he's totally flat. Anybody who hears this is going to experience the same. But Arjuna, being the first witness of those 4 verses, he was like totally flat. He just surrenders completely and falls flat and speaks like this. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Saswatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshir Naradastata Ashito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravasime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me." So this is the conclusion of Arjuna after hearing about Krishna. And Prabhupada says, if anybody comes to any other conclusion about Krishna other than this, which says you are the absolute truth, you are the original person, the unborn, the ultimate abode, if anybody comes to any conclusion other than this, it means that he didn't understand Gita, because he is coming to a different conclusion than Arjuna. If Arjuna comes to a different wrong conclusion. Krishna would have corrected right away. He didn't do that, which means, so this is the conclusion one has to come to. So at least that's why Prabhupada says, at least one should accept Krishna theoretically as the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, you cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. If you try to derive any, your own understanding that Krishna is, subpar to Brahman, it's not possible. After hearing this verse. And this section, actually, end of the previous Chatushloka, is like a conclusion to Bhagavad Gita itself, actually. It's a turning point because Arjuna before this and after this is very different. And after learning about what Krishna is, he learned all through in 9th chapter also, he understood he is the source of all the creation and all of that. But after hearing this, Arjuna becomes a lot more inquisitive to hear the glories of Krishna, more and more glories and activities of Krishna. So the rest of the chapter as well as the rest of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita is more or less Arjuna's further inquiries to understand more and more of the details of the glories of Krishna and Krishna's creation, like the 3 modes of material nature, how they act and all of that, right? So those are, literally the details. So it's like if suppose there is a good teacher who gives an instruction for say 45 minutes and opens discussion for 5 minutes, it is that time where Arjuna, being so very inspired by Krishna's wonderful instruction, he actually inquires further into the details and takes the whole discussion to a very a wonderful next level, right? While Krishna answering these questions also, he takes takes the whole conversation in such a beautiful and meaningful and takes the subject in a very methodical way forward. That's the beauty of how Gita evolves from here. In a very riveting fashion, Krishna takes forward the message after this. But for all practical purposes, the ultimate instruction is just given. And now Krishna he mentioned that he is the source of everything. Now, the next section focuses on how to know Krishna through his vibhutis. Vibhutis means, vibhuti is anything endowed with special power that exists within this world. There are incarnations, Shakti Aves avatars, there are also vibhutis. Or, among men, or among Pandavas, or among animals. So in everything that exists, Krishna can be seen as the ultimate source. So Krishna is going to explain in vivid details almost rest of the chapter about how when you see vibhutis or attractive things in this world, how you can relate to Krishna through them. So vibhutis help one to think about God all the time. That's the whole idea, because as Krishna mentioned in 10.9, ultimately we should remember Krishna. We should discuss Krishna. Everything should become like a Krishna Katha. Right? So how does that happen? Only when we are able to see his vibhutis with the things around us, in the things around us. So this whole section is going to help us on how to think about Krishna while functioning in this world, right? So he's going to detail the vibhutis in this particular section.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
What is the English word for vibhuti? Is it spark of Krishna?
Yeah, spark. You can say spark.
When we tell somebody, we can just say spark of Krishna, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Special power. Yeah, we'll come to the discussion of spark actually, right? So many things attract us in this world, isn't it? Like there are wonderful, powerful animals, majestic animals like elephant or a tiger or a lion, great mountains like Everest, are very powerful people in this world. So when we see, these people, we naturally get attracted to it. But the fact is that we should understand anything attractive is present in this world that actually comes from God. That He is the ultimate source. Everybody's attractiveness in this world comes from Krishna. That's the reality that we should recognize and understand. There is nothing that is separate from Krishna. Everything. So there is a very important reason why we should see the person Krishna behind everything. Right? We are going to discuss those practical lessons. So how does that help us, right? So, for example, in a work environment, one may see a colleague who is very smart and very brilliant at accomplishing results, right? So the way other people respond, seeing the brilliance of this person is, one may become the first way of that most people go through is they become insecure. If he's going to win everything, all the awards and everything, what are we going to get? Right? Because that's the natural reaction. It's the same thing happens in a movie industry. There are only two or three superstars, right? The rest of the hero clan, right? They all become very insecure, even though they're all well known, have good movies. Still, they become insecure. It's the same thing in every field, right? In every field, there are these brilliant stars, and rest of the many people actually always try to compare with them, and many of them feel envious. They try to find fault with them, and they feel insecure about their own position. Krishna says that recognize that brilliance that is in him is actually comes from Krishna. Whatever is there in that person, his ability to achieve something is actually a spark. That brilliance actually comes from him, Krishna. So when we see like that, it is only Krishna's power. It's not this individual's greatness. He's also a small, infinitesimal soul like me. But Krishna has empowered him for a reason. Whatever it could be, his karma or whatever. He could be having a special purpose to achieve for God. You never know. So it could be both. It could be just a stroke of karma, or he could be an instrument in the hand of God. It could be anything. So we should never envy those great qualities in them, right? And instead recognize that if he himself is such a powerful person, how great God must be, how brilliant God must be. If this spark itself, this individual soul is exhibiting such qualities, how powerful God must be, right? That's what we should recognize. If this person is so beautiful, right, how beautiful God must be. If this person is so smart, Einstein is so smart, how brilliant God must be. That's how we should see. Then that act of recognizing this brilliance in him ultimately becomes our way of praising greatness of God, right? So that is the real way of dealing with the things of this world, with the attractive things of this world. That's the only right way of seeing things in this world. If we become mesmerized, get attracted to that person, that is actually illusion, right? That's what we understand from this verse. Like Mataji said, attractive things of this world are just like small sparks. They're very, very minute sparks. In the dark night, a small fire spark appears brilliant, isn't it? All of us have that experience. Even a small light, especially in India, when I was child, like we used to have, power cuts in the night, almost like 4 or 5 hours sometimes. And sometimes we used to have like a kerosene lamp in the home, and we used to light that up, to do some studies in the evening. just to have some light around, right? But that is the source of all, all the light we can have at the time, because there is no other source. At that time, we can really appreciate that, isn't it? We really think that is great, but that we should recognize is only a small spark of greatness. What is that spark in comparison to a full-blown fire, right? How great is a full fire compared to that spark? So Bhagavad Gita says that everybody's attractiveness is but a spark of attractiveness of Krishna. So anybody's brilliance, like Einstein's brilliance, is also like a small fire spark of this gigantic fire. That's how we should see. It doesn't mean that we look them down, or it's definitely great that he's we should recognize that, but acknowledge that the real great is actually Krishna. We should, by seeing his brilliance, we should recognize and appreciate the brilliance of Krishna behind him, right? Yeah, similarly, ocean and a drop of water is also a similar comparison. Yeah. So another important thing to learn is everything attractive comes from Krishna, but need not take us towards Krishna, right? There are many things that are very attractive in this world. A great singer could be you might really love a particular singer's abilities to sing, because his voice is such a melodious thing. Especially for you, it could be the most melodious thing, but all that he sings is only rap music, or about romantic, about romance. Or if hearing that is going to give you thoughts of romance, or get distracted from your real purpose of life, then it is actually a distraction. It's not really doing any good for you, right? So we should appreciate, actually we should appreciate that when we have to go, when we are attracted to certain things which are not really ultimately in our good interest, right? We should appreciate that they have these abilities that are endowed by God, but we should ultimately reject them. We should not be attached to them. We should reject them. Even though you like them, understand that it is not in your good interest, because ultimately that attraction is not taking you towards Krishna. That is the measure for everything. If you are attracted to something, if you are attracted to a person, or thing, or is it because it's just emotional attachment out of the way he speaks, or many people who might give us some emotional solace, or many ways, we might like people, but is that just a fading, a temporary attraction without any relation to Krishna? Then we should actually be very cautious about it. We should not give our way to that. But if you are attracted to a devotee, that is good. Because that is going to take us closer to Krishna, right? Again, that attraction should be towards taking us towards Krishna, not for anything else. Not because he gives nice prasadam, or he gives us some good business ideas, or not from any other perspective, but from the perspective that he actually helps us remember Krishna, or takes us closer to Krishna. That's how it should be. So Krishna mentions many attractive things going forward in this chapter. So the key point is, whatever attractive exists within this world, it's but the spark of attractiveness of Krishna. That's what we should learn from this section. Now, I'll just delve into one more verse, 10.10. Yeah. So the ultimate lesson from this verse is that choosing Krishna is the one choice that empowers us to make many better choices in life, right? There are many choices we need to make all the time, right? In this world, especially in the current time. If you want to buy anything, go to Amazon, you will have 100 choices. I was just looking for what a baggage, for going to India, few days back for some reason. And then like you have 100 choices. You never know how to make a choice, the best choice out of it. So the point here is choosing Krishna is the one choice that makes us, because once you have Krishna in life, every other decision in your life will be taken in accordance with your relation with Krishna, in relation to Krishna, right? Just like suppose a person wants to enter ocean to navigate to a destination, the first thing he will look is not the route that he is going to take right now, but he would rather see actually up in the sky, are there going to be rain? Is the sky cloudy? And where is the pole star right now? Because pole star is one thing that always in a constant position in relation to Earth, right? We all know that. So he looks at the position of the pole star. That way, he can be guided to navigate in the right direction. So similarly, in every decision we make, we should consider our Krishna consciousness. Every action we perform, we should consider, is this taking me closer to Krishna or not? Right? When we do that, this is one choice that makes many other choices right, or many other choices the better choices. So that's the ultimate conclusion of this verse. That before we perform any action, turn to Krishna for direction. Then he will direct us, our life, on the right path. Is that making sense? Mataji has a question. So what about our parents? We love them, but they might not be taking us towards Krishna. Oh, interesting question. Yeah. So towards parents, Mataji, are you here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So towards parents, it is our responsibility, because we are grateful to what they have given us, right? They have already given us so much. Even though they may not be actively taking Krishna consciousness, we are in Krishna consciousness because of what all they have given us. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, right? His father was completely demonic. He's actually, outright atheist, isn't it? He wants him to stop chanting. At least our parents are not like that. But what did Prahlad Maharaj do at the end? He wanted the ultimate welfare of Hiranyakashipu. When he was praying to Lord Narasimha, he wants him to be blessed. He wants him to be blessed. So like that, we always pray. So our relation with our parents is out of our love. We actually, in fact, a pure devotee loves everyone. And as practicing devotees also, we love everybody, including our parents, in a way to help them to actually become Krishna conscious. So in that sense, see whatever we can do. If they're not ready for active Krishna consciousness, we actually try to give them prasadam or solace in their problems. Every soul has that fire of Krishna consciousness. It could be subdued in a way that is not glaringly Krishna conscious, but it is there. And our acts of love, kindness, and our compassion will have some effect. Even though they may not take up in this life, they will take up in the next life. Or even though not right now, you never know. They might take up in a very near future. You never know. We should never be hopeless. Especially because that they have given us the life, and indirectly they are the cause of our Krishna consciousness, because without them we are not here and we don't have anything, right? We don't have our body, we don't have existence. So we should always be grateful, and we should always try to give them as much as we can in our capacity. And if not us, maybe a better teacher would be somebody else whom they might have trust in. But we should work towards that always. Yeah,
Sure, Prabhuji.
making sense.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Any other question? I think we are good here. Almost done. Yeah, it's a very quick summary I gave. I hope it made sense. If you have any questions, we can discuss.
So can you go to that slide which talks about everything which attracts Krishna, everything which is attractive does not need to take us towards Krishna?
Yeah.
Yeah, so based on this heading, I got that question, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah, so because we are attached and attracted to,
Hmm.
or like we are fond of and affectionate to them,
Correct.
but they might not take us towards Krishna.
Yeah, but in this case, you are the parent for them in Krishna consciousness. That's how it is, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes we hear, very young devotees, Amarendra Prabhu, for example. He is like our father. He is going to take us towards Krishna. So, in Krishna consciousness, again, the age is measured differently. So we take the parent role for that. When they are not Krishna conscious, we are the one to take care of them. And they have given us the physical body, and we are grateful to what all they have done so far. So for that, we reciprocate, and it is our responsibility to give. No, this is more to explain about our ephemeral attraction to things of this world. Like the new, something comes up with flash news that Elon Musk, the greatest inventor of the current days of the electrical engine, or like that, right? We are so attracted to people and things of this world, admiration, and so that we should avoid. We should always see that spark. He is just a spark. Behind him is Krishna. And sometimes these sparks, because these people may have some bad habits, or they have wrong ideologies, they may not, they may, if we try to be emotionally attracted to them, they may misdirect and make our our thought process incorrect. So we should be cautious when we deal with them. They make some statements, we don't just believe in them. Yeah, so that's how it is. So this is more about not being attached to the ideologies of people who are not aligned to in proper way.
Sure, Prabhuji. That clarifies, Prabhuji.
Anything else?
So one question I had, Prabhuji, it might not be related to this, but is it okay if I ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are part and parcels of Krishna, right, Prabhuji? So we have all the qualities of Krishna, but the quantitatively we are very infinitesimal. So Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, right? So we are also in a way, because we are part of the Krishna, so we also have the tendency to enjoy. So how can we stop something which is a part of us?
No. Yeah. So we also enjoy, but we enjoy it as a mercy of Krishna. Like, for example, we all take nice prasadam, right? We don't have any restriction on. But when we, even when Lord Chaitanya was, in the association of devotees, they would all relish wonderful prasadam. In fact, Lord Chaitanya, to satisfy the devotees, he would eat like mountains of prasadam. Actually, if you heard Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are descriptions of the items that Sita Thakurani, wife of Advaita Acharya, makes. For the pleasure of Lord Chaitanya, hundreds of items. So, but always Lord Chaitanya says, this prasadam is so much loved by Krishna. So when we taste, it comes slowly, but ultimately the idea is, when we eat prasadam, we are appreciating the mercy of Krishna more than the taste of the object that we are eating. So that consciousness drift is there. It takes time, but over a period of time, we are supposed to develop. We are more attracted to it because it is the prasadam of Krishna than the taste. Oh, this is gulab jamun, I like it. No, it's not that kind of attraction. I have such, you know, it's not because of the item. It is because, when we advance in Krishna, when we purify ourselves, we see it as the mercy of Krishna more than the item that we are attracted to from our past experiences. Right? We attract to things because of our past experiences. So as as we make progress, that turning point happens one day when when we see Krishna through everything. When you hear a powerful lecture, after that your vision suddenly changes, right? The way you see people. So it is like that. For a period of time, that becomes your innate nature. We are not there yet. All these Prabhupada disciples like Jayapata Maharaj or all these great souls, the way they see everybody is so different. We cannot understand right now. They just want to share the message in their, the body doesn't support, nothing matters for them. They just want to share, because in that sharing they have such expression of love that they express towards Krishna, that's like breathe for them. One time I remember Radhanath Maharaj came here to Seattle, and he was having a lot of conversations with devotees. After that, around 2:30, 3 o'clock, it's already 2:30, and devotees, are thought, the last meeting was over and he's going to have prasadam. And I was with Gaurang Prabhu. Gaurang Prabhu is there with us. Gaurang Prabhu is also waiting for, talking to Maharaj for some time. Actually, he wants some dedicated time for him to talk about his project in GEV and the progress, and he wants some guidance and all. And devotees are making preparations. And I asked Prabhuji, Prabhu, Maharaj haven't had lunch. It's time for lunch. Maybe after that, you can all have discussion. I just said like that. Prabhu looked at me and said, "No, that's not what attracts his heart." Now you see what is going to happen. Now Prabhu went there, sat with Maharaj with the laptop and started showing. Maharaj. Maharaj saw Gaurang Prabhu and said, "You want to talk something?" Prabhu said yes, and then they started. Prabhu showed the laptop and he started explaining all the details. Maharaj was in ecstasy. He was like, he was talking the details, and it went on for 2 hours. And he didn't even bother about it. And at 5 o'clock or 5:30, because that is his mission, that is his service to Prabhupada, and that is his life. And as if nothing happened, and Gaurang Prabhu didn't even consider that Maharaj need to have prasadam, because he knows that this is what is the sweet for him. This is the sweet for him, right? And then he went, at 5 o'clock finally, Maharaj is again going to details. Gaurang Prabhu wants to end it so that he can have something. Finally, they ended it after 2.5 hours, 5:36. Then he had lunch. And he didn't feel anything. I mean, they're not bothered about it, and he just ate as if very in a very happy mood, and he's already full. We felt like he's already full always. So it's like that. So it's a different level. The way as we advance, our perspective towards life completely changes. That is Krishna consciousness. Even we see His Holiness Harivilash Maharaj like that. He just goes on serving. That is his life all the time. Just we went recently, for our marriage anniversary. He spent so much time with us. He blessed us, and we haven't talked in a while due to COVID situation, and I wasn't actively serving anything with Maharaj recently. He spent some time, and we really felt love. After so many days, he was, we were so uplifted that day, that night. So it's like that. They're always willing. They're at a different level. All these. So we all should aspire to advance and get like that. And, we should feel the inspiration by looking at all these wonderful devotees around. So that is association. When we associate with them, by hearing them, by following them, we get those, a tinge of those qualities at least. So for them, the attraction is always service to Krishna. That's what, that's how they say. They don't see the objects, they see the person. Just like, they don't see the spark and stop there. They see the source behind everything.
Yeah. Amazing, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, Hari Bol. Anything else? If nothing else, we can all end here. Anyone wants to share anything that they want to? Maybe you can all quickly share, just in 5 minutes. Yeah, anybody wants to go ahead, share anything? What's your key takeaway? That's one thing that you would remember.
Source of everything, Krishna.
Chai. Summary. Yeah, I mean, you can also tell what you want to apply. Others can share. Yeah. Anything else, devotees?
Reciprocation of love for Krishna. All, yeah. I think that statement itself gives the message.
Act in this world only as if a reciprocation for the love of Krishna. Right? That's the essence from those 4 verses. Yep. Go ahead. Anybody else?
Remembering this Krishna is the source of everything. That helps a lot to apply at office, right? We see so many things.
Yeah.
So many people are very intelligent. So many things, right? So if you think that it's everything coming from Krishna,
you feel so relieved because you don't have. See, Prabhu, one thing, when you have Krishna conscious mindset, 99% of your problems go away from your mind, because there are so many things that are stressing us in our life.
Yeah.
Now, when you have faith in Krishna, that Krishna is going to take care. I don't need to worry. I'm doing my effort, and I do it as a reciprocation to Krishna's love, and I chant, and whatever is in my hand, I do it properly. And we know Krishna in 2 verses is reciprocating. We take 1 step, Krishna takes 10 steps. When we have that faith, we don't worry, I don't have green card, our job is so insecure. We don't need to worry about anything. We know that Krishna is going to reciprocate with us.
Yeah, whatever the result, there is good or bad, it seems
ultimately for Krishna's love for us. Yes,
he loves for us, and 99% of the difficulties will go away, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, I'll ask now each one of you. Sita Priti Mataji, go ahead. You have something to say?
Yeah, my key takeaway is where you mentioned that whatever attractive exists, it is but a spark of attractiveness of Krishna. So I really like this point.
Yeah, spark is not attractive before sun. It's only attractive when there is darkness. Right. Yeah. So it's anything you see actually is just a small spark. It's it's just a minute representation of Krishna. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Daivi Radhika Mataji.
Prabhuji, one thing I like this. People who are devoted, they find delight in discussing about the Lord. So that take away, like that should be a quality of a devotee, or at least a practicing devotee. So as much as possible, I should be talking about Krishna than anything else. And as Prabhu mentioned sometime back, whatever we see, better than us, we should always think that it is a mercy of Krishna to them. And they are also Krishna's children, and they are better than us, and we should feel happy about it.
Yes.
That's a attitude that we should develop, and I try consciously sometimes, but that's
it is
also
very difficult because it's rooted for millions of lifetimes. These the envy is rooted in our heart. We say so many things, but still we all have the traces of it until we come to the stage of bhava also. it's going to. So we have to always, consciously correct ourselves.
Yeah. And I don't remember where, but I heard that in some lectures that we have to think that it's between them and Krishna has, mercifully blessed them. So we should feel happy that Krishna has
Yeah.
given. We
They
should
have
not.
received the blessing of Krishna. Yeah, without that, nothing will happen, right? Even though they show pride or anything, if somebody has riches or better home, better car, whatever, or better job, it is because of basically culmination of his karma sanctioned by Krishna, right?
Yeah.
So we accept it as it is, as he is different. You are different. You are a makeup. You are in a certain stage in your journey towards Krishna, right? It's a snapshot, right? When you take a snapshot of so many people, everybody is in a different step, and
Right.
somebody high, somebody low. Everybody is running towards Krishna, but everybody is in a different step, different position. So there is nothing to compare with others, because every product is a make of its own. So there is no comparison. You have to compare with what you are before. That's the only proper comparison in the existence.
Right.
Hare
So
Krishna.
these two are the takeaways for me.
Thank you much.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just wanted to add to what Daiviradhika Mataji said. So I listened to one lecture by Nitai Sevani Mataji about how to overcome jealousy and envy, especially when we are seeing others progressing, maybe who started with us, but they are progressing really ahead, and then we always feel, oh, what's happening, right? So she gave this analogy of, in material world, everything is limited. Let's say a student wants to go to a particular college, the number of seats in that college is limited. So that means that only few people can get into that college, right? That means whoever didn't get it, they will feel jealousy or envious of the other people who got it. Oh, I worked really hard, but still I didn't get it. But in the spiritual world, with Krishna is unlimited. So there is no need for us to feel anything like that, because it's all about how much effort we put in and how much we do for Krishna. It's just a matter of time. So when Krishna is unlimited, why should we feel jealous that, okay, they are getting more blessing from Krishna? So Krishna, there is no limit there.
Yeah. Ultimately, when we go back to Krishna, there is no problem at all. So we should see this problem. This problem is going to exist always in the material world. So we should focus on going back to Krishna. Yeah, it's a very good point. So everything is limited in this material. The resources are limited. So that is, by definition, is a material world. So we should not feel bad that we don't have something, we don't get something.
Yeah. Krishna
Yeah,
will reciprocate to us, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Chaitanya Sundar Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So I think, for me, practically the same point, but when we get attracted in the news or in the press coverage everywhere, right? Some of the materialists. So connecting the dots that, they're all nothing but just a simple, spark or the splendor of the Lord. I think always we have to look behind what made them the great. So then we get attracted to Krishna.
Yeah.
So if we get attracted to somebody, then we should get attracted to the source of them.
Yes. Yeah. So how great the source must be. We should think like that.
Exactly. So
if Steve Jobs is so smart, imagine the creativity and the products that God himself, who created that brain, would be.
Yes. So I think thinking like that helps us to overcome our attachment to the material
things of this world. Yeah.
Things of this world, and then get some attraction to the Lord, and then we can dovetail our desires to reach Him. Then.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Narahari Priya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was in the temple service, so I couldn't completely pay attention to all the entire class.
Sure.
But I heard your point saying that don't have to be we don't have to pray when we notice, as other Prabhus are also saying, Mata said, when we see any great quality in anyone, we should know where the source is. So I remember this I saw somewhere in India on a car. It said, don't praise the praise the creator. Don't praise the creator. Don't praise the creation. Praise the creator.
Mm,
So
don't praise the.
it's but it's not to praise. But the point is there's a creator who is behind this creation. Trying to tell that.
Yeah, that's true. Praise the creator behind.
Praise the creator creation, but of course there's nothing wrong in praising his creation if we connect it to the creator.
Yeah, got it, Prabhu. Yeah, thank you. Navadvip Prabhu, Navadvip Manandulal Prabhu.
Prabhu, I covered it.
Oh, you covered
Reciprocation
it?
of love.
Oh, yeah, you covered it. Yeah. Sakhi Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I really like the point which we discussed about in the Chatushloki. There was a pointer you made about the Bhagavad Gita ultimate message is see your actions as reciprocation of love within the ultimate reality. That is, any action we do, whether it's cooking or any service we do, so we have to do it as a reciprocation of love with Krishna. So sometimes we go on a routine, we lose the enthusiasm for doing certain things, at certain time. And then at that time, I was just thinking about that, so when we have this kind of thought, like anything we are doing, it's with the love for Krishna. And even in a family, doing stuff, any work, sometimes we get tired and lose the enthusiasm. That time we put this thought into action, then we will always have that enthusiasm to work for Krishna, the love of Krishna.
Yes, that's true. Everything done should be done as a reciprocation of love towards Krishna, because Krishna is looking for that love from us, so we want to reciprocate accordingly. So there is a thumbs raised.
Probably one question.
Yeah.
In an earlier classes, we discussed about saying that we should always think that we are doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. Like whenever we work or so. What I did on a desktop, I kept Krishna's picture and said for the pleasure of Krishna underneath it. So whenever I open my desktop, I realize it. At least.
Very nice.
But I remember for a few days, over a period of time, like I kind of ignore it now, right? Like you understand my point. It's not ignoring, but not paying attention.
becomes
routine.
Like a routine. Yeah. So that's why we keep changing creatively. You change the picture, or or you discuss, rekindle the interest, right? We can discuss like this, right? So that's the whole purpose of coming together every week, so that we rekindle our inspiration, right? So why are we trying to come together? So that we rekindle our devotion towards Krishna again and again, because material world is always pulling us down. All the material energies are working against Krishna consciousness. That's how the material world is. If you don't chant for a few days, think about how your consciousness is going to be. It's very scary. I have given up in the first when I started chanting. I gave up for a few days, and then I never feel like chanting. I was, so many things come in my, life that as an excuse to not chant. It becomes like that. It's like that. It's very, material nature is extremely powerful. That's the reason we all come together, rekindle, re-inspire each other. So that's why we keep hearing again and again. We don't give up. Just like a child, when he tries to walk and he keeps falling. Manjari used to fall all the time. Still, she kept on walking. That like that, we should keep on trying. When we see Krishna sees our commitment, he he gives his finger so that we can catch him slowly, and become steady. It takes years to become steady, and then slowly advance, right?
Yeah.
I heard this one, Prabhuji, in one of the lecture. Progress of a devotee in the spiritual path happens within the association of the devotees.
Yeah, perfect statement. It is only through association. Yeah, that's why we talk to devotees. We have to open, like Mataji was telling yesterday, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to give prasadam, take prasadam. It's easy to give gifts and take gifts. But when it comes to opening mind, it's very difficult. So we need to develop that trusted relationship among devotees.
Very true. Yeah.
at least one or two devotees whom we can openly share our shortcomings and strengths or inspirations. All of that we all need. We all need that nourishment. Without of course, it's also the responsibility of the other person to not judge, take this news and think that as oh, I'm better than this guy because he's doing this. That is a completely non-Vaishnava way of seeing things. If we can help, we should help. We should never think, compare with our what he is and what I am. That is like, so that's where maturity is needed before we hear others also. It's a very subtle concept. Just because somebody has something negative, don't think that, oh, I'm better than him. I wake up early. No, never think like that. He might be far more advanced than us. We never know who is where, and so always have that respect. If they have opened their mind and shared something that about their weakness or something, listen with respect and understand. Actually, he's actually opening with me with trust, and I should keep that faith and see what I can do to inspire. If I'm in a position. If he's if you think he's more advanced, you better not even suggest ways to correct, because he knows that he's sharing because he just want to share. It's a very subtle thing, the way Vaishnava Sadachar. It requires a lot of maturity, and we should all be open to sharing ourselves openly. Without that opening, we will have certain aparadhas in our heart that are blocks that will stop our advancement, which we don't realize until very late. That's why we should have at least one or two people who we can freely share.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Anandram Prabhu left. Yeah, anybody else? We are done, right? Anybody else? Oh, Sujata Radhkumataji.
Haribol Prabhu.
Yes,
Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So I think I heard half of the class here and there. We had Gauranitai welcoming
I
today.
know. Yeah, you're busy.
So Prabhu, I think two things I recently thought about, maybe not related to the class. So one was like while chanting, chanting, what I thought was like every day we eat food. It is for the nourishment of the body.
Correct.
When I eat food, it goes inside, does something, and it nourishes my hand, eyes, all parts of the body gets nourished. I'm not every time while eating, I'm not thinking, oh, how this food is processed to nourish this part of the body. I'm not thinking so much. But while chanting, I think so much, okay, how this works. Am I really chanting good? Am I really moving the beach? Like all the time that keeps on coming in the mind. Then I was thinking, chanting is for the nourishment of the soul, like how it is for the nourishment of the body. Yep. I just don't know how it works. Just chant.
That's so that a very good point. So the thing is, we should focus on hearing. That's the only thing. We should not worry about how effective is our chanting.
Is it really working? I mean, all the time that comes, is it really working? Is this thing?
It is working. That's why we are not attracted to movies. Are you going for movies? No, right?
No.
You are not attracted to restaurants where you used to eat outside. Yeah. That is the work of chanting. That's the work of chanting.
Every day we don't forget to eat. We are like that. We shouldn't, like, we are not skipping, or we are not thinking so much.
Yeah.
Like that we should.
The reason you are here in the class is because you're chanting. Because I'm telling you, right, material energy just drags you down. Just give up all Krishna consciousness for 1 week. Even though you might be chanting for 15 years, you feel so weak. You don't even feel like meeting a devotee, because material energy is powerful.
Yes, Prabhu, I have faced that initially, like, because whenever I go to India, I leave, I'm not able to chant with all family and all that.
The experience of so many people. They go to India, their Krishna consciousness is taken 30% down.
And then when you come back, it's like an uphill.
It's an uphill.
That.
Even I
so what is the tip to bring it back faster, Prabhuji? Like, I'm sure all of us go through this difficulty, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, not leave chanting when you go to India, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I think we should
so
do
because I think
chanting. Extra chanting is one thing.
I think I asked Rohini Priya Prabhu the same. I think at that time, like whenever I go to India, because at the time I was not initiated, so I leave chanting. He told, you tell your family members, everybody, that I have something. I have to do this. This is my time, and you take time, and so that everybody is aware. You are not expected to go socialize at that time. So then the next trip and all, what I did was I woke up at 5 o'clock, finish my chanting, go for a walk or whatever. I'm not going to kitchen. I'm not going to do anything. You guys manage it. After my 16 is done, I come, and then because the whole day goes.
Yeah.
Maybe another thing, I don't know. Maybe Prabhu can correct me. Once if we go to India, another point is maybe we can call to one of the devotees in Seattle, maybe Prabhu, and talk with Prabhuji for 5 minutes. You will get that inspiration to chant immediately.
Definitely, we should be in touch with the devotees.
Yeah.
Even some of you, I know, like Chaitanya Sundar Prabhu, when they went to India, they actually shared Bhagavad Gita, taught Bhagavad Gita, because they are going as devotees, after first time, I think. So when you also are trying to give them Krishna consciousness, that's one way to, again, protect yourself. I remember very well when I went to my hometown, Vizianagaram, long time back, like in 2010, long time back. First time I went to India from US, I actually did a DYS class, because previous experiences are like whenever I go down, my Krishna consciousness go down. Then this time I did a DYS course there to my uncles, aunts, everybody came, and it was in Telugu. I did again. It was very nice experience, and that's how I kept my Krishna consciousness up and running that time. We can share, Bhagavad Gita like that.
Yeah, so Prabhuji, I means last time when I went, I experienced this, that morning chanting really helps. Then you get lot of time. You have whole day in your hand.
Before others wake up, you can chant.
Yes,
actually.
yes, definitely.
Yeah,
and
means
from last few months now in COVID times, since we were in home, so my Prabhuji have started DYS with his auntie, uncle, with my family. All are in that WhatsApp group, and we started this DYS. So now when now I think when we will go, we will have a separate discussion to do. Now they know, they are aware of it, that how what are our thoughts, means what direction we want to go. So now I feel so happy, so secure, now
yeah, because they know about you, and
yes,
they know what
yes.
you do. So
Yeah.
that's such a good conversion. You brought everybody into discussion about Krishna consciousness.
Right.
I think many devotees did that. When even I think Sujata Radhika Mataji also can tell.
Yes, Prabhu. So we also,
connected
when
with
we did DYS, and I got a picture of Radha Krishna from Mayapur and kept it in my other sister's home. So whenever I go, they don't, no meat, no onion, garlic, and we offer food with tulsi and all that. That I make sure that food is offered, and I do arati. Like this time when I went, it is like chanting, and then I do arati, offer food. That's my duty. That's it. You all follow that. And then now Shyam Mukund Prabhu is doing Tamil DYS he did for some close friends and family. And now he's doing Bhagavad Gita in Tamil. And now it's like some people are kind of calling and asking personal questions also. Like one of my college mate, yesterday he called and said he had some personal thing. He was confused. He should do this. Like somebody cheated on him with a lot of money. And he was asking questions like, okay, should I take revenge on him, or should I kind of let it go? Because he was not opening up like what his problems is. But when Senthil said his problem, he said, I also went through something. Then he opened up. And then he was asking suggestions how I should do. deal with it. What does Bhagavad Gita say about this? So it's like they, at least he's thinking about some things like that. So I think yeah, and they're confused because everybody else is advising differently.
Yeah, that's true.
So then they don't know what is right. What should I do? So that's good, Prabhu.
Yeah. So I think a lot of devotees have helped their during this COVID time. They reached out to their families. Even Sridhar Gopal Prabhu, they also did something for their family. Chaitanya Sundar Prabhu did. Jew did. Sita Priti Mataji did. I think a lot of devotees. Devi Radhika Mataji might have done something as well. We don't know.
We are not directly doing Prabhuji, but I am trying to enroll my family members in Sujata Radhika's Tamil BG class. Yeah, so some of them have joined. So
yeah, last week I think one of Devi Radhika's sister's college mate, she joined this week. I didn't know there was a new person, and we asked, and she said she's looking forward for the class, and she asked some questions also. So she's also bringing Tamil speaking people from her family.
That's good.
We sent Bhagavad Gita to her from here, and then she was interested. She knew that myself and my sister are following, so she used to ask us general doubts and stuff like that. She's my sister's best friend, childhood best friend. Then during, I think, Gita Jayanti, I'd put a comment saying, whoever needs Gita, let me know, we'll send a free copy. And then she said, and then luckily they live in a remote village in Tamil Nadu. So I was looking for some Tamil class, and the moment I heard about that Sujata Radhika had messaged that Prabhu is taking class, and then I asked them, and they enrolled, and she really likes it. Especially in Tamil, I think they could relate and understand. Yeah.
Very good, very good. So that's how we should spread the love.
I want to share. I'll take just 1 minute or so.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, my sister's husband, proper, he's a property dealer, means totally materialistic person. And in last 6 months, he just spoke to my Prabhuji for 3 hours. He spoke one day. And then after that, something what sparked, I don't know, but he started chanting. He's a property dealer. Now he did nursing home, so he's in touch with my Prabhuji. They usually talk now. He took Bhagavatam set from ISKCON. Means earlier there was nothing in Krishna consciousness. The whole family, there was nothing. We spoke to Guru Maharaj, and he had lot of questions in his mind about formless and form. So then Guru Maharaj told us to to decide 7.24 with him, the Bhagavad Gita 7.24. That gives a clarity. Now he has a shop. He did the inauguration of his new shop. The shop name is Divine Properties, and on that the what do you call the banner, he has written the slogan, right? Do chanting and be happy. That slogan. So that slogan is also there. Means the life has changed in the last 6 months, and it is so amazing. We went to Guru Maharaj and told him that what is happening with him, and my Prabhuji told, this is amazing. This is
miraculous.
This is a surprise. So then Guru Maharaj gave one statement. He said, don't get surprised in Krishna consciousness. Anything can happen with the mercy of Krishna, something like that.
Through the devotee.
Yeah.
Through your Prabhuji.
So Krishna is giving that faith, like more faith for Sita Priti Mataji and Prabhu.
It's one shot 10 birds. They got faith. They see a person's life change. So many benefits. It's amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing, Sita Priti Mataji. It's amazing to hear.
I am so surprised. Means I can never think of him getting in Krishna consciousness. So I'm so happy, thrilled, and he has established a temple in home also.
He will do. You see, such people, what they will do at some point, they become more, devoted, and they might even start a center. You never know. Prabhu just gave that connection. Now he will expand from there.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you for your association. I'm so happy, thrilled now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. Okay, so next week is Gaur Purnima. So I think we'll all be busy in temple. We'll skip. Is that okay, or we should discuss Gaur Katha, or what do you all think? You can, if you want, you can all let me know. If you 4 or 5 people message me saying I have some service, we'll skip it. You can message me, okay, individually. Otherwise, we can plan some Gaur Katha. We can.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. We should do it. It's a fantastic opportunity that Gaur Purnima is coming on Sunday, and it's our regular time where we connect and we learn.
I can relate few wonderful, merciful stories of Lord Chaitanya, if that's what we can discuss.
Sure, Prabhu. I would like to be there.
Heart touching, heart melting stories of Lord Chaitanya.
Sure, Prabhu. Then let's
Absolutely, Prabhuji.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Haribol, Jai.